everyone, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing another book review. I've been reading a lot lately. I picked this one up during Pride Month at my local bookstore, and I read the back and I was hooked. It says, "I think I miss it, being straight. I mean, I miss people thinking I'm straight. And by that, I mean I miss people knowing I'm straight, because I am straight. One girl can't topple your entire sexuality, right?" So I was like, this seems intriguing, and I love myself a good LGBTQ plus book, so we're gonna pick it up. And it was just really pretty. I've been really into pink lately, and I went into it not really knowing too much about it, other than what I had in the back, and kind of like what it said right here, the little synopsis. And from what I got from it, it was this girl who was discovering that she wasn't straight, and kind of going through, like, I guess some kind of scandal with that, and I didn't really know what that was, so I was eager to pick it up and read it. First, when I started reading it, there was a lot of like pop culture references that I was not familiar with, and I felt very old and also very out of touch with these queer individuals that were being introduced to me. This book is very queer, I'm just saying. Way more so than I originally anticipated. It's just a queer world, which is really interesting and really fun, but it's so unlike how I perceive everyday life for a queer individual. Like, they're surrounded by people who are gay, and like it's just like this immediate gay friend group, which I understand, but it was just like, whoa, okay. It is beautiful and fun, but not relatable for me, because at least in that aspect, because there was a lot of other things that were completely relatable for me. And I don't know how many people who are queer like talk about being queer 24/7 like this group did. It was really refreshing, just because I have read books from the LGBTQ plus community, and they've been really good, but like there was a lot of things that I think this book taught me and brought me aware to, that I really liked. But yeah, for the sake of it being just a book, I think it worked. The pop culture references, I got through them, and then towards, like, as the book got rolling, there ended up being less and less of like them being kind of thrown at me. I think it was just like kind of like the introduction of the book, getting to know these characters and everything. And also all the Imogenisms were quite interesting. Imogen is very expressionate about who she is, and her faults and her things about her, and they have little words and kind of like sayings that like just make it her, and like say that that's just her, you know. And I thought that was very interesting, and there was just like a lot of interesting phrases that were just very true to this book and very much for this book. Like, there was heteropotamus, which was very interesting, and I've never heard it before, to describe Imogen. And those were kind of just like, I think, microaggressions, just that Gretchen was just kind of putting on her as well. Like, there's joking around, but there's like, that's too far. I just came out like 2 years ago, and even though I have friends in the community and I'm very much in touch with, you know, being queer, there's still a lot to learn. I feel like there's still a lot to learn every single day, and I'm very much up for being educated. And of course, a lot of the things that they did bring up were just true for this book, but I also think a lot of it was very informative and educational. For example, the whole, I guess, faking being queer to be like popular or to like feel like you're fitting in with a friend group, is something that I don't hear talked about a lot. I feel like I've definitely heard it before, from somewhere, and I definitely think it's an issue, but like I didn't know it was that big of an issue. And they talked about it here, and Imogen is kind of going through this like early life crisis, trying to figure out who she is. And she's very much humble and young, but also a people pleaser in like not a negative way, but like she is just so sweet and never wants to offend anybody, and also loves the idea of being an ally and like feeling included in that circle because she supports, but of course she doesn't identify as queer. But she feels still very in touch with that community and being with an ally because she's surrounded by it all. I mean, her friends are queer, her sister's queer, and so she's having very much an identity crisis, trying to figure out what she is once she starts having feelings for this other girl, and she doesn't know if they're feelings or not, and she doesn't know if she's just kind of conforming to this mold, because like she's very much, I think, a code switcher in a lot of ways too, where her personality kind of changes or adapts to, or the way she talks adapts to what situation and the group she's in. And it's not a bad thing with her for sure, but she is very aware, I think, of like who she is and what her faults are, and that this could be a thing that's going on, and so it sends her spiraling. And I think that I related to it so much because I definitely am the same way. There's this whole conversation where Imogen's like, oh, if I had to kiss somebody, like, I would choose this one. And she chooses a female actress. And then her friend Gretchen was like, that was insulting because, you're straight, you identify as straight, and then saying you would kiss someone who is female is insulting to me, and you're like trying to fit in. And so it's all these different things that when I was younger I didn't view as wrong, and still things where I'm like, okay, like I don't view them as wrong, but there's a fine line, obviously. But then you realize how much of a jerk Gretchen can be, and like how she overdoes it, and how she kind of just gets in Imogen's head a lot, and she just sends her down a rabbit hole of like overthinking all these things when she was perfectly fine and perfectly a beautiful person as was. I think it brought about so many different controversies and so many different types of people in the community and ways to view things. Everyone's unique, everyone's different, and to be educated and informed is so important, and to talk about it and want to be educated and informed is also so important, but also surrounding yourself with like other individuals who can give you advice and like their insight on things, I think is very important, because then you see what more people think versus what one person thinks. And I think that for Imogen, and realizing that is so important, being surrounded by all these different friends who don't view what she's thinking and going through as wrong, and that one friend does. So they like for example, Lily, like when something is bothering her, she very much sits Imogen down and talks to her, which at first I thought Gretchen was kind of doing, but then she like brought up every little thing that bothered her, and it kind of became too much, and it was just like things that didn't bother everyone else, and so I think I'm gonna keep saying the word healthy, because I think Lily and Imogen's relationship is very healthy. Their friend group is very healthy. Imogen's future relationship or a friendship that ends up blooming into a relationship with Tessa is very healthy. They just like joke around all the time and are super duper cute and dorky, and I'm just like, I want this in my life. Like, all of you are so great. And I think I love Tessa. I think she is like perfect for Imogen. At first I wasn't sure exactly how I was gonna end up liking each character, but I loved all of them. Obviously Mika, what was it, Declan, and I think it's Kayla. They end up being more side characters, but they are still very prominent in the story. They're in the text change, and they kind of like drive the story along. There's like all these funny cute moments, like with the sausage and everything, and just like, this is so random but also like so funny. I didn't know why Lily did not like Gretchen, but I think she's very like supportive of Imogen and very much a good friend in like saying that, hey, that's your friendship, I'm not gonna mess with it, you do you. But I personally do not like that person, and saying like I'm sorry for anything that, like, you know, she says that might bother Imogen, but obviously Imogen is not bothered by it because she knows how Gretchen is. And I think that um, that just speaks volumes to just their friendship, and like they've been best friends, you know, since they were kids. Lily basically lied to her friends about her and Imogen dating, and that was like her first like relationship. And like when it came out, nobody like was mad. Like Imogen was totally for it, and like was like not even upset. She was like rolling with it even though it was so difficult for her. Speaks volumes. And then the whole like Gretchen coming over and like meeting them after the party, like then at the diner, like you could tell she was like coming up with some kind of plan, just to make Imogen feel bad because she felt offended that now Imogen was taking her title, and now and she didn't relate to her, and she felt that Imogen was faking it, and because of all her beliefs and everything, and that ruined their friendship. But like to embarrass your best friend like that was just like, was wondering when they were going to bring it up, because obviously there's tension like in the first chapter, and it's not until way later, but I think it worked that they bring it up, and it's over Gretchen talking about how she doesn't like how someone didn't say their pronouns. She doesn't feel safe around them, and you know, people don't know what their pronouns are sometimes. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable saying them. That's like everyone's, I think they said it best at the end of the book. Everyone goes through their own journey, and we should not judge them. Because, like, that's just, it makes someone feel uncomfortable. And of course, like, you can ask questions, and of course, you might not always agree with everyone. Like, Gretchen, I'm pretty sure, will find her own friend group that completely agrees with her, but I think that me, at least, I love Imogen's new friend group, and like I think that's the one I would go for. But everyone is, you know, entitled to their own opinions and everything. But if something's not healthy for you, it's best to just let that go. And then Imogen letting Gretchen go at the end, or saying, hey, maybe in the future we'll reconcile and see where things go. Like, but right now, that's not good for me, I think is so healthy. And so, like, it shows her growth exponentially, and she just grows throughout this book. I'm gonna keep saying that too. And I thought it was a little interesting how, like, she, at first I thought she was visiting like a community college, because they were saying your local college, and so I was just like, that's community college, right? And I was thinking my community college when I was like going there, and then there was dorms. I'm like, oh, this is legit like college, and they were like describing it. I'm like, this sounds beautiful, I want to go there. And like I don't know of any like colleges that they can just like go and sign in and spend the night with their friends, but apparently you can do that there. And I think it was also like they were touring colleges, so that was also a thing, because Gretchen was also like looking around. So I don't know. Edith is such a supportive younger sister, and I think that like anybody else that's not that close would definitely be bothered with the fact that Imogen took her coming out story and everything, but like she is just so happy and proud of her sister, and at the same time like completely understands that she's going through her own thing, and is so supportive. I think they are just adorable. I would have liked to see Imogen coming out to her parents, but obviously we already know that, obviously that sounded weird, we know that they're already going to be accepting her and Tessa at the end, doing like the big dramatic where they meet at the giant pancake, I don't know what it was, like it was where they make pancake thing. She like posted it, and Imogen like saw it, but like not till late, and it was kind of Gretchen who let her know about that, so like I guess yay Gretchen for that one little thing. And so they go and they're like kissing in the rain, and then Imogen finally gets her kissing in the rain moment, because earlier she was just like, I don't understand how people do that, but bam. Just yeah, so many great quirky moments. And I love the whole big like familial aspect of it. I think that including like the siblings and then the parents, it was really great. I think this book was a really good read and I would highly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all real soon. Bye!